Good afternoon. Ask the right question and nature will open the doors to her secrets. C.V. Raman. Today is the 36th episode of Creative. Creative is a group of people who are very curious to gain the knowledge. Creative meaning is to be active, we need creativity. Creativity needs activeness. So creative tagline is knowledge square. Sharing of knowledge increases our knowledge. So the tagline of creative is knowledge square. Creative is focusing on promoting platform to the resource persons to share their discoveries, views, and knowledge with us in various fields. Vision of creative is to build constructive thinking and progress in various fields. Creative organizing talks based on non-textual, non-academic, non-syllabus related topics. We are very thankful to our all resource persons to sharing their knowledge with us and making our event successful. Every Saturday, we are conducting talks around 3 to 4 p.m. through online platform, and we are live streaming our program in our YouTube channel. And India celebrating Azadi Ka Amrita Mahotsav on the occasion of 75th Indian independence. We also dedicating our Saturday talks to it. And today's topic is Raman Life Light. To present, we have Praveen sir with us. I invite Professor Divya.S sir, Department of CS, AES National College, creative volunteer, to introduce our today's speaker. Over to Divya.
Thank you, Supriya. Good afternoon to all. I am Divya, Department of Computer Science, AES National College, Kauri-Bignur. And this is my privilege to introduce the speaker of this session, Shri Praveen.S sir, and his qualification is MSc Mathematics, MEd, NET Education, KSET in Education, online course on Action Research in Education from NCERT. And his designation is Block Resource Person at Block Resource Center, Kolar, Karnataka. And his professional development in CPD programs, Science Education Improvement Programs from IISc Bengaluru, and Mathematics, Arts and Design from Indian Academy of Sciences Bengaluru, etc. And his area of expertise is teaching of mathematics and science for secondary school children, teaching mathematics through origami, etc. Again, and he won many of the prizes and awards. One first prize in TLM competition conducted by TBF STF Government of Karnataka in Dharwad 2014. One Karnataka Teacher Cash Prize, first prize in South India Science Fair 2015 held in Thrissur, Kerala under teacher category, and so on. And he published some of the publications, Mathematics Conference RIE Ajmer, National Conference on Development Mathematics, Teachers for Quality Learning for All in the year 2013, RIE Ajmer. Next, MEd dissertation. The title of the paper is Study of the Effect of Origami Teaching in Teaching Algebraic Identities for 9th standard students of a government high school, and so on. And he published some of the books, the calendar nondige Sankhya Vinoda, etc. Again, he has some online content and online videos. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, Madam Divya. And Monday is, as we are celebrating 20th February as National Science Day, we have Dhanvin here to brief the significance of National Science Day. Over to Dhanvin.
Ma'am?
Yes, Dhanvin.
Hi everyone, my name is Dhanvindram. Today I'm here to say significance of National Science Day. National Science Day is celebrated every year on 28th February to commemorate the discovery of the Raman Effect by Indian physicist Sir C.V. Raman on 28th February 1928. Government of India designated 28th February as National Science Day in 1986. National Science Day is celebrated with the theme every year. This year, 2022 theme is Integrated Approach in Science and Technology for a Sustainable Future. The National Science Day will be celebrated at Vigyan Bhavan, where President will distribute awards to scientists for their contribution of science. Some of such awards are National Science and Technology and Communication Awards, SERB Women Excellence Awards, National Award for Young Women for Excellence through the application of technology for the benefit of society, AWSAR Awards, and many more. The celebration will be held at various science and research centers of India, like Homi Bhabha Research Centers of India, like Homi Bhabha Center, IISc Bangalore, Tata Institute Mumbai, IISER Pune, etc. Various educational institutes will also conduct events and talks to recall the renowned name of India, C.V. Raman, to promote motivation in students regarding the importance of innovations in various fields of science. This day is also celebrated to spread a message about the importance of science used in daily life of the people. Thank you.
Thank you, Dhanvin. Thank you for briefing the significance. Praveen sir, over to you.
Good afternoon. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Should I keep the video on?
Yes, sir. No problem.
Okay. Okay then. And good afternoon, everyone. It's good that we have started with a lot of things on Sir C.V. Raman. Today I'm here to give a brief note on whatever the discoveries and whatever the scientific achievements that Raman has achieved, which made India to be proud in the Nobel ladder. Let me share the screen.
Visible.
Visible, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So I have named this talk as a Raman Life Light. Let me tell you why I have taken the title as Raman Life Light. And at the end of this talk, you will definitely be convinced with whatever the title I had. So throughout the life of Raman, there has been lights. Let us see what are all the enlightenments and lights and the discoveries that made us proud. Ask the right question and nature will open the doors to her secrets. See, whenever we start taking the classes in the classroom, we tend to ask the children, why don't you ask some questions? And I keep on telling them that no question is a silly question for any matter, right? But we hardly get questions from the classroom. Only then, when the question is aroused, only then we can ignite the creative minds, and also we can ignite the hunger for search for the truth. And what did Sir C.V. Raman did? He asked the right question to the nature, and that's why he got an opportunity to meet these galaxy of people, and he got the opportunity and He got all the confidences to have a Nobel Prize in his honor. See, this is a great moment for not only Sir C.V. Raman, but also for the entire Indian. That's why we need to celebrate this. That's why I have taken the photograph. I have used the photograph at the beginning of my talk, because this 1930s event is itself is a greatest thing which drives us to all these abilities. Now, let us come to Sir C.V. Raman's life. As everybody know that he was born in a Tamil family in the south, from the South Indian origin. And the greatest scientist was born on 7th November 1988. And his parents were, this is very important to mention the names of the parents, you know, are Chandrasekhar Iyer and Parvati Ammal. They were the parents of Sir C.V. Raman, and he was born in Tamil Nadu in a place very near to Tiruchinappalli, which we call it as Tiruvannai Kaval or Tiruvannai Kovil. And his early education was at Vishakhapatnam. From 1892 to 1902, he got his education, and later on he moved to Presidency College, Madras. And from there, everything got unfurled. The secret scientist or the secret creative child got out, and in the 1904, he earned his BA with first rank and a gold medal. And the journey of the genius started from 1904. And one of the teachers of Sir C.V. Raman, whatever he had got the experience with C.V. Raman, has illustrated like possessing a great alertness of mind and strong intellectual grasp. This is what the quality which was admired by his guru on Sir C.V. Raman. And with all these alertness of mind and intellectual grasping, he was able to present his first paper in 1906 at the age of 18. I see a lot of children in the group. Dear children, this is a challenging task for everyone. At the age of 18, we will be still thinking about what to do, what to study, what not to study, where to settle down. But for Raman, it was a very progressive year. At the age of 18, he could publish a paper. And that too, it was a very decent paper. And that paper titled as Unsymmetrical Diffraction Bands Due to a Rectangular Aperture. And it was published in London Philosophical Magazine in the month of November 1906. When a pencil of monochromatic light from a silt in the focal plane of a collimating lens falls upon the object glass of a telescope in front of which a narrow rectangular aperture is placed with its sides parallel to luminous slit of the collimator. So if I keep on reading that, at the age of 18, there are students who doesn't even know how to frame the English sentences. And a lot of students we come across, they don't even know how to phrase, and they might not have done a lot of experiments at that age. But what made Sir C.V. Raman to achieve all these things? This is the greatest question that every Indian has in his mind. And for that, we need to have the thorough picture of C.V. Raman life, and also the thorough gathering and best knowledge of Sir C.V. Raman's discoveries. And at that time, it was said that the brilliant students and the intellectual minds should come to civil services exams, and Sir C.V. Raman was not an exception. He also took the civil services examination. In the year 1907, he took first place. And in the same year, he got married also. And his wife was Lokasundari. And now he got a turn. Whatever at whatever time, at the juncture of time, he landed in IACS, that is Indian Association for Cultivation of Sciences. He joined there and it turned the entire life for him. And it was regarded as the battleground for him, because all the discoveries, whatever he has done, was from this IACS. Even today, this IACS stands right, and it is still functioning as a deemed university. And there are a lot of courses that are available even today in IACS. And for the benefit of students, I am giving this information to all of you, dear children. This IACS is even working now. You can just visit the websites IACS and just have a look on what are all the facilities that are available and what are all the things that you can go ahead. And then it was a very proud moment again. In 1917, Sir C.V. Raman was chosen as the Polit Professor in Kolkata University. And this Polit Professor, post, the Polit Chair of Physics in Physics, it was proposed in the University of Calcutta, and it was a professorship. See, in the 1888 he was born, and in the 1917 he became a professor. Just think how much of inputs that he has already given to become a professor. And nowadays it's quite hard to become a professor, because in order to enter the first grade colleges, you need to have qualification and you need to get through in national eligibility test, or you should have been a post doctorate in any of the disciplines. And then after giving 10 years of service only, you will be upgraded to associate professor from the assistant professor, and ultimately the professor. But look at the achievement of Raman. Even though he did not have any PhD at that time, he was raised to the professorship in the University of Calcutta, that too as a Polit Professor. And to give some information about the Polit Professor post, this was chaired just because of Sri Tarakanath Polit, who donated 1.5 million to the university. And this chair was first taken by Sir C.V. Raman in the year 1917. He joined as Polit Professor in July 1917. This was one of the greatest achievements of Sir C.V. Raman. And then in the 1921, there was a Congress of Universities of British Empire, which was held in London. And while he was coming back after attending this function, he was fascinated by deep blue color of the sea. As a matter of fact, he was very much enthusiastic and he was excited by nature. He was looking to the nature with all sorts of skepticism, and he used to think every time scientifically. And with the help of Nicol prism for analysis of polarized light, and what he already learned about Rayleigh scattering, he took the sample of water, he kept it in the laboratory, and he made a lot of changes to water. He distilled several number of times, and he separated the dust particles and subjected it to a lot of experiments with his colleagues. And ultimately, he made a lot of experiments, and ultimately he wrote a paper on this specification: the molecular scattering of light in water and color of the sea. And this paper was published in the Proceedings of Royal Society of London. Every time Sir C.V. Raman made it a point that as soon as he discovered something, it has to be published over a paper. And he kept this attitude every time. And he also insisted his students and the fellow followers to do the same. Because anything can happen parallelly in the entire world, you know. At the same time, I can discover something, and at the other part of the world, somebody may get the same result. But the acknowledgement has to be given. Therefore, he insisted on presenting the paper as soon as it was discovered. And the molecular scattering of light in water and color of the sea paper was published in the Proceedings of Royal Society of London. In the year 1924, he was conferred the Fellowship of Royal Society. Without even having a PhD degree, he got the Fellow of Royal Society accreditation. Okay, and then some of the other Indians who were regarded as the fellows, here there is a list. See, it was Prafulla Chandra Ray, P.C. Ray. He was selected as the Royal Fellow of Society in the year 1913. Jagdish Chandra Bose, Srinivasa Ramanujan, Devendranath Malik. See, one of the things that is to be noted here is, even Srinivasa Ramanujan was from southern India. He was a Tamil Brahmin background mathematician. And even Chandrasekhar Venkataraman, on whom we are speaking now, he was also from the same clan. Both of them did not have the PhD degree. Even then, they made a point to become the Fellow of Royal Society. And this is a very important fact from the students and teachers' perspective, I think so. Because we will be lagging behind to have a lot of diplomas, graduations, post-graduations, and all the other courses. But ultimately, what it counts is what we have learned, what we have discovered, and what is the amount of perspiration that we had. So this is really a chapter for us, for all of us who are thinking in the scientific way, and also for all the students who are studying about science. Let us see some of the achievements that he has already made. Some of the awards and accolades. In the year 1929, he was given the knighthood of the British government, and in the 1930, he got Nobel Prize for Physics. In the year 1920, in between 20s and 28s, he discovered a lot of things about the scattering of light. And for that, himself and his students and followers who were working with Sir C.V. Raman gave a lot of support to him. It is said that they prepared nearly 100 to 120 liquids through which they demonstrated and they experimented a lot of things. And ultimately, they gave the scattering experiment based on benzene and other liquids only. In the year 1942, he was given the Franklin Medal for his discoveries and for his work on science and scientific temper. In the year 1954, Bharat Ratna Award was conferred on him by the Indian government. And in 1957, the International Lenin Peace Prize was given. And in the year 1961, he was a member of Pontifical Academy of Sciences. Not only this, he has a lot of other awards and accolades to his credit. In the year 1933, he became the director of Indian Institute of Science. Previously, he was associated with the same institute as a professor of physics. And he has a lot of things to his credit and a lot of embarrassments also that made him to go out of the Indian Institute of Science. And he came out in the year 1948 and he got retired from 1948. And while he was stepping out of the Indian Institute of Science, he had a big dream. the dream of building a private institute which will stand together, which will stand in parallel to the Indian Institute of Science. Thus, an institute by his name was started. He started Raman Research Institute with lot of donations, and with the help of Mysuru Maharaja, he got this institute built. And he also faced a lot of criticism while he started building Raman Research Institute. One of the professors was just kindling him like, we have got a big scientist who is begging for the science development. And do you know what was the reaction of Sir C.V. Raman? Yes, in India, we have a lot of philosophers and a lot of big people begging. To give an example, he gave the example of Buddha and some other notary Indian philosophers. See, to that extent, he was confident about building the entire science empire. And he designed, along with the engineers and acoustic managers, he designed the entire building, and the two buildings which were designed to form a pi, the mathematical constant. And when he looked through the Indian Institute of Science, and when he looked out, he was able to see the Indian Institute of Science very much nearby. And this Raman Research Institute is comprised of some 11 to 12 acres of land, which is very much near to Makery Circle in Bengaluru. And then he thought that he should never look at the Indian Institute of Science again. For that reason, he built a lot of big buildings, and also he planted a lot of neem trees over there. Not only with that, he was not only enthusiastic about the science and the physical building, he was equally interested in the greenery around the 11-acre science empire. He planted a lot of things, lot of plants around the institute, and made it a point that this should be as cool as possible. And since 1948, Raman Research Institute is working. Now, to the benefit of the students who are already joined here, I just make a note of these things. When I say it is Raman Research Institute, everybody will raise a question, or the question comes to their mind, what are all the things that are available in RRI? Can we become a part of RRI? All these questions comes to your mind. So these are some of the things that are available in Raman Research Institute: research faculty positions, PhD program, postdoc fellowships, Pancharatnam fellowships, summer students, visiting students, and other openings. To quote my own experience, with the help of Indian Academy of Sciences and Raman Research Institute, 2.5 years back, I was very fortunate enough to undergo a 10-day science, mathematics, and design program in the same RRI. So it was something about the summer student program. A lot of these programs keep happening around us, and will not be knowing everything. So to the benefit of the students, this is being told. And there is one more point to be mentioned here. Since I am a teacher, and also right now I'm a trainer, I keep walking to a lot of schools, whether it's government, it's an aided or a private school. And whenever I happen to enter the classes, like it may be the 4th standard or it may be a 10th standard, I keep asking the questions like, what do you want to become when you grow up? And the common answers from the students is only 3. Number 1, they want to become engineers, they want to become doctors, and ultimately they want to become teachers. But nobody wants to become anything that they want to be. but everyone want to be an engineer or a doctor. I have seen a lot of students who are not aware of the wide cross section of the scientific field in India and abroad. And at the same time, I also give them a lot of opportunities that are thrown open by RRI, IISc, and also Indian Statistical Institute, which they never know. The second part is they never wanted to know also, right? So research faculty positions and PhD positions are wide open. The only thing is you need to strive hard. You need to perspire to achieve all these things, which seems to be very difficult when against gaining a 4 years, a playful degree in engineering and earning a lot of money and enjoying life in the engineering section. This is the attitude of the people. But whoever is aware of the science background and the importance of science, we need to tell them. There is another reason also for which the students are not oriented towards science, I think, because since 1930 till 1970, we have been searching about the second Nobel Prize, which I would be telling in the later sessions. Okay, the very important and the heart of the entire talk should be on the Raman effect. We study this Raman effect only in the final year BSc, I suppose. And until then, there is no mention of Raman. Of course, there is some unit concerned with light and Raman effect in the 10th standard, along with the Rayleigh effect. But it is not in the depth. When a sample is exposed to monochromatic radiation, majority of light is transmitted, remaining part is scattered. See, this is all about the Raman effect. But from this we can get molecular analysis, as very molecule has its own spectrum, thus gives a characteristic spectrum for each molecule, atomic bonds, it gives status of reaction, whether in progress or stopped. To continue with that and to have a clear picture on what Raman effect says, see, there is a molecule being given here, and when a laser light is imposed, that is the green light is being imposed, normally the green light comes out, that we know. But along with that, there are two strange events that happen, and this made the importance of the discovery by Sir C.V. Raman. The scattered light with no change in frequency was called Rayleigh scattering. That is what you can see here. Yellow light has been incident, and the emerging light is, the green light is incident, and the green light is emerging out. And this is called as the Rayleigh scattering. And there is a point here. The scattered light with two different frequencies called as Raman shift includes two types. The one with low frequency called as stroke lines, and with the higher frequency called anti-stroke lines. This is what the experimentation and the demonstration and the achievement of Raman. This made a very spectacular change in the field of light and also in the field of molecular study. Depending on the molecular structure, the incident light used to come out in different frequencies. And when these frequency lights are tested and when they were absorbed, we used to get the lattice structure or the atomic structure or the molecular structure of the of the material. This opened a very new chapter in the material production. Right now, we have a lot of other materials, now including plastic and also iron. And now we are able to have a material synthesized with the property of iron and also with the property of plastic put together, and that is due to the Raman's effect and the application of Raman's effect. For this, he used his own spectroscope, and a lot of people helped him in achieving this also. At the same time, as I told you, when he was returning from England, he was fascinated by the blue color of the water. And at the same time, the entire color of the sky was blue, and even today it is blue. And he asked the right question, why the sky is blue, and he gave us the right answer at the same time. Okay, to be in brief, sunlight is white, made up of all the colors of rainbow. Space is black because there is almost nothing devoid to reflect sunlight. Blue and violet light is scattered by Earth's atmosphere, turning the sky blue. As we know that in the white light, from the spectrum of light, VIB, GYO or VIB-GYOR, violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. Red has the maximum frequency, and violet, indigo, blue have the least frequencies. From the Rayleigh scattering, it is very much evident that this scattering, the amount of scattering is inversely proportional to the fourth power of the wavelength. And when it is inversely proportional, as and when the wavelength increases, the deviation or the dispersion decreases. Therefore, for the smaller wavelength light, the scattering happens to be maximum. Violet and indigo, since these two colors are not prominent, blue is more prominent. It is more prominent when compared to violet and indigo. Hence, there is a lot of scattering of blue light. And the scattering mechanism, we can also have it in the signals also. The red light happens to be the maximum wavelength, and it gets to the minimum scattering level. Therefore, we are able to catch red light to far distances. Okay, and therefore the vehicles carry red indicators to the maximum extent. As you can see in the other picture, Earth's atmosphere, sun rays are coming, and yellow, red, green light, they are reaching the Earth, whereas the blue light with least wavelength getting scattered. This is why the sky is blue. Sir C.V. Raman asked a right question to the nature, and he gave a right direction, and he opened a new arena of scientific thoughts, and he made us proud by keeping India in the Nobel ladder. To mention about, see, nothing is fulfilled without the mentioning of his wife, because whatever the achievement he has made with the help and aid of everything, with the help of Lady Raman. And someday somebody asked Sir Raman, sir, how can you be so active the entire day, and how can you be so enthusiastic for the entire day? And do you know what was the reaction of Sir C.V. Raman? He replied, see, I just begin my day with strong Indian Tamil coffee, that is South Indian coffee, which my wife prepares, and that keeps me engaged in the entire day, and that keeps me thinking, and that keeps me experimenting every time. She herself was a musician, and she had a lot of things to her credit also, and her interest in music also paved the way for Sir C.V. Raman to have the musical notes and musical instruments into his research criteria. He has published a lot of papers on the Indian musical instruments also. And every time Lady Raman made sure that she cooked the food for him. even though there were a lot of servants at home, she made it a point that she served the food, and it was very clear that she helped him and she accompanied him every time, everywhere he went. And thus she helped, or she gave her full-hearted support to Sir C.V. Raman to achieve all these things. The important aspect of Sir C.V. Raman, see, not only the achievements are to be acknowledged, but also to be taken into consideration that a lot of people work for others also. And for that reason, Lady Raman always stood behind Sir C.V. Raman. At the same time, not only with scientific theories, not only light that drew Sir C.V. Raman to the limelight, but also musical instruments. He has a lot of interest, that too deep interest in colors of minerals, rocks, and gemstones also. He had a collection of all these things, and whenever he used to see these minerals, rocks, and gemstones, he used to pick it up and he used to keep it in his pocket for the further researches. And he has an incessant love for diamonds, and he always thought how this would sparkle and what are all the special qualities of diamond and how to improve the luster of diamond. All these things he always kept in mind. At the same time, he was very much interested in the anatomy and physiology of vision. How do we look at things? How can it be varied? How can it be modified? And how can it be strengthened? All these questions he used to ask. And every time it is very clear that he used to ask right question to the nature, which we should employ that. And at the same time, the Raman Research Institute, as I told you, 11-acre of science battlefield or the science arena, has a lot of things, not only connected with pure science, but also with biological sciences. And there is a butterfly garden over there. And Sir C.V. Raman was very much excited with the colors of butterflies and beetles. And he did a lot of research also on these things, which makes us to have interest in varied fields. See, the only thing is you need to enter the door. You need to find the door where to enter. All the time we will be busy looking for the door. And even though we come near the door and stand nearby, we will be in the hallucination that the door is locked and we will be searching for the key. Ultimately, the door is never locked. The only confidence that we need to have, the only key is the confidence that we need to have is the understanding. Once you knock the door and open the door, and once you enter the arena of your wish, whether it's a science background or an engineering, whatever it is, you will have everything you will have the control over everything. And you start understanding and you start limelighting everything. That's what it was in the case of Sir C.V. Raman. He had a lot of varieties. He had varied interests. The only cause was light. Musical instruments, apart from musical instruments, the minerals, rocks, love for diamond, anatomy or physiology of vision, and the butterflies, everything is connected with light. Due to all these things, he was conferred the 1930s. As I have already mentioned, in the 1930, he was given the Nobel Prize for Physics. And in the 1986, National Council for Science, Technology and Communication gave an advice to the Government of India to celebrate February 28th as the National Science Day in commemoration of Sir C.V. Raman and others, giving the detail of whatever they have discovered, and it was given to the public in 1920 on February 28. That's why it is a remarkable day and a rememberable day. And every National Science Day, NS Day, comes with a theme. And the theme for 2022 is Integrated Approach in Science and Technology for Sustainable Future. See, we need to have a lot of vision for the future also. Whatever we are happy or whatever we are enjoying with a lot of science and discoveries should not come to a standstill with our lives. It has to be taken further and it has to be carried to the next generation also. So in order to do that, the science and technology should have a sustainable future. Not only the future, but a sustainable future. And this sustainable future is paving way for the next generation and the thought process for the next generation also. So in commemoration with this, from 1986, we are celebrating National Science Day in the entire nation. And with the same thing, the NCSTC gave few declarations on this day as to why National Science Day is important and why is to be celebrated. To mention few, National Science Day is celebrated to spread messages about the importance of science used in the daily life of the people. See, we come across a lot of superstitions and a lot of customs that are not fully scientifically driven. And people get carried away with that and they get into difficulty with a lot of illiteracies. So we had to combat that. We need to give a scientific message to the people and we need to uplift them scientifically. To display all the activities, efforts and achievements in the field of science for human welfare. A lot of things are being done, particularly in the field of science. Every discovery is being printed and it has to be taken straight to the common people so that they can understand and they can have the glimpse of science. And to discuss all the issues and implement new technologies for the development in the field of science. With whatever the science and technology development we have, only then we can have the future. So one thing that I can quote here, Sir C.V. Raman, after starting his institute, he came to know that there is a lot of gold deposits in Andhra Pradesh and the vicinity areas. And he just wanted to have an instrument which can detect this. And of course, Jayaraman and some other who were working for Sir C.V. Raman, they devised a new device which was helpful in detecting the metal abstractors. And of course, ultimately, it was not physically executed. But even then, when you have a vision and when you have something needed at that moment, you need to have what are all the technologies that you have. Today, to mention, we have the Raman Spectroscope only model in Kolkata Institute. But do we have the working model of Raman Spectroscope? Of course, the NASA people have taken the advantage of this discovery and they have done it. But we need to take care of these things. Being the property or being the property of India, we are not able to use it in the right way. To continue with that, to give an opportunity to the scientific mindset citizens in India. See, one thing I can quote from my experience, there is something called Inspire Awards, Innovative Science Pursuit for Inspired Research from Manak and Department of Science and Technology, India Innovation Center. This holds the Inspire Awards for students who are studying between 6th and 12th standard. And being the science resource person for a particular block or a particular taluk, I was given the responsibility and opportunity to post maximum number of proposals for the Inspire Research, Inspire Awards. And it was very difficult for me to go places and make the teachers and also students to apply for Inspire Awards. And in one particular block, there were some 300 nominations. And ultimately, when it was scanned and it was shortlisted, it was only 30. Look at the strike rate. 300 proposals were given and only 30 proposals were indigenous and they were new, and rest 270 were repeated. There are two things to be known here. Number one, we do not have proper opportunity for a proper mind. And number two, even though we have a lot of opportunities, we never initiate the students or whoever it may be to come to the forefront. So in order to achieve all these things, National Science Day has been designed and it has been followed since 1986 to give an opportunity to the scientific minded citizens in India and to encourage the people as well as popularize science and technology. See, there are a lot of science magazines also, and people, they never turn to pages. They never read it. Even in Karnataka, in Kannada, we have Bala Vignana, Vignana Sangati, and a lot of other magazines, but hardly 1 or 2% make an effort to read that and to, of course, even they don't have the opportunity to read, how can they contribute to the articles? And even Vision 2020, Vision 2047 is one of the good books that I have ever come across, which is published by Vigyan Prasar. And there are a lot of science discoveries, science news in it. And of course, there are some called I Wonder Why from Azim Premji University, and also other publications. And the tribute was paid to Sir C.V. Raman for all his discovery and for all his scientific works. He was given, as I told you, he was given the Nobel Prize, Bharat Ratna, and a lot of stamps were also printed in his name. And this is a very rare photograph of Raman with his spectroscope. And this is the point where he was giving a lecture and he was very much prepared for the lecture and he used to deliver it in very fine terms. And when you happen to listen to Raman's lecture, it is as good as listening to some scientific thought and scientific narrations. And Sir C.V. Raman happened to mix his talks with a lot of humor also. And he used to stay in a place which is nearby Malleshwaram, and this is the photograph of his house at Bengaluru. November 21, 1970 was of course a sad day in the science history of India because we lost C.V. Raman on that day, and at the same time the search for another Nobel laureate in science began. Till now, even after in the 1930 we got the Nobel Prize in Science, and today we are in 1922, and in 8 years we will be heading for the century, and still the search for Nobel Prize in Science is still a dream for us. And even though we have been making a lot of efforts in the field of science and technology, we are yet to achieve more laurels in the future days. So in order to prepare this presentation and in order to have a talk on Sir C.V. Raman, I used these books, written by J. Raman, Sir C.V. Raman, a memoir, and Why Sky is Blue. It was written by Sir C.V. Raman. It's available in the PDF form. In the internet, you can easily download it. And I'm very much thankful to Raman Research Institute, Indian Institute of Science, Google, Wikipedia, Shutterstock for all the images and information that it has given me and have used it for our convenience. I wish you a happy Science Day for everyone who is gathered here, and thank you very much for all of you. If you have any questions, 1 or 2 questions, I think we can take.
Thank you, sir. If any questions, please raise the hands. I will unmute them. Any questions? Okay. If any questions, okay. Dhanvin want to ask some questions, sir. Dhanvin, you can unmute yourself.
Ma'am, nothing. My sister want to say a speech.
Wait, Dhanvin, I will tell. Vijaya ma'am, you can unmute and ask.
Good evening, sir. I am Vijay Shri. I am very happy to actually listen to you today's. I have attended many National Science Day. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes. Please go ahead.
Yeah. I attended many National Science Day lecture series and many events. But this is one unique thing which actually started off with the very minutest details of Sir C.V. Raman. Personally and professionally and his life through. I'm so happy that I was able to attend to this. And then anyway, I don't know whether I should ask a question technically here. Maybe you can just go to the slide on your Rayleigh effect and then just explain it a little bit more. I'm not sure if that is called for here, but maybe if that takes too much time, then we will discuss it later. It is all. Thank you.
Was this the same slide you are talking about, madam? Hello?
Sorry, it is 19 and 20. 19th, I think there you initially started off with your discussion on the the previous slide, sir. The previous slide. Yes, 19, slide 19. Slide 19.
1 minute. This
yes.
one?
Yes, yes, yes. If you can just go on a little bit more details, because I think you did not touch upon the details of the slides for want of time, looks like.
Okay. All right. See, this is a molecule here, and there is a green light incident on it. And we knew that only whenever the light is incident on it, the same light would come out. And it is, of course, true. And the green light is coming out. But due to the atomic and the molecular structure, there is a chance, and there is always a chance that other lights also would come out. And am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, before the event that it happened for Sir C.V. Raman for this discovery, it was discovered even in X-rays that there was some other radiations, and that was called as the Compton effect. And that Compton effect made the discovery of Compton made Sir C.V. Raman even more confident. He was every time he was telling that there are some other different radiations that are coming out. And apart from whatever the incident light, which we are looking at as the green, there are some 2 other lights which are in the radiations that are coming out, which we call it as the red and the blue, whereas they are called as Stokes and anti-Stokes lines. This is all about the Raman effect, he told.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Next question. Harika? Harika?
Ma'am, to say the speech, ma'am.
No, Harika, wait. Anirudh?
Yes, ma'am. Sir, I just had one doubt saying that. What is the mechanism of the spectroscope?
What is the mechanism of the spectroscope?
Like, how does it work?
Oh, if you want to know that, see, right now I cannot explain because there are a lot of complexities that work with that.
Okay.
Okay, see, whatever the radiations that comes out, it just absorbs the radiation and it gives you the angle of the radiation, and depending on that we find out the other factors of the emergent light.
Okay, sir.
Maybe it's
So one more
frequency
doubt.
or its wavelength or whatever the fact may be.
So one more doubt. Wait, yeah. Sir, why is the sky blue? That part I just got logged out due to internet issues. Could you just repeat that part?
What do you want? You want to look back the same slide?
Yes, sir.
This one.
Yes, sir. Like, why is the sky blue and sunset red, sir? Okay, see, you can just look at the second diagram, the Earth's atmosphere and the sun rays in space which are incident there. The visible light is composed of 7 variety of light, that is from violet to red. Okay, and it so happens that red has maximum wavelength and violet has minimum wavelength. And from the Rayleigh scattering, it was evident that the scattering of light rays is inversely proportional to the wavelength. Okay, inversely proportional in the sense whichever light has maximum wavelength will be least scattered. Excuse me. And if this is true, then violet and indigo should get scattered to the maximum extent. Since these two are not prominent colors, the very next chance is for the blue light. Therefore, blue light having least wavelength gets scattered to the maximum. Okay. This is how it does. So that reflection falls on the water surface, so the water surface appears blue. To some extent it is clear. See, even then in water, okay, in water also a lot of radiations and a lot of reflection scattering happens. And due to that scattering also in water, blue light is scattered to the maximum extent. Okay, yes, sir. Thank you.
Shastri sir.
Oh, yes, yes. Please put on that slide, that is the same slide, what you... That scattering one.
This one?
The previous one.
This one, sir?
Oh, yes, yes, yes. I think, that I have to add, something over here.
Okay, please do it, sir.
Yeah, okay. Whenever, this Rayleigh scattering happens, for example, you have shown, that green laser, and it just, it gets, deflected or reflected in direction. That is true. But what happens, when, what is the question of, in what way it is different from Raman effect? See, the incident wavelength gets changed. Why does it change? Because, the molecule, either, it absorbs some energy out of the light or gives out some energy, to the light. That's why we get, this anti-Stokes and also, Stokes of Raman scattering. Ultimately, the scattering itself, is not a refraction. Scattering is not reflection. It is just, a kind of a scattering means, just it just, throws it away. While throwing it away, the molecule itself interacts with the light. That it happens 1 in 5 million incidences. So it is such a kind of a rare thing. But this Indian scientist, due to his perseverance and also hard effect, could detect it. That's where the Raman effect becomes great. That's one first thing. The second thing is that once that molecule interacts with the light, it changes the frequency of the light. When we analyze the scattered light, we can know what has changed it. That's how the molecule, its character of the molecule itself can be known when we analyze this light. That's why Raman effect is very, 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 very important tool to analyze and to know lot of chemical elements. That's why in those days, in 1930s, so this was a kind of a tool to analyze lots and lots of chemical structures, because we had, in fact, I might tell you, the DNA structure itself was its explanation to this Raman effect. And now the Raman effect instruments are so cheap. Even for ₹5, you can have a Raman spectrum. And C. Krishna Shetty and Sons, the diamond merchants in Bangalore, always depended upon Raman to know the quality of their diamonds. Raman used to do this Raman effect. He could take a spectrum and also tell whether the diamond is pure or impure or whatever by the category. So this is the story.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Srinath, sir. Srinath, sir. Okay. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, but I could able to talk to you. Give me a minute. Actually, what happened? One more information I would like to put forward here is when Raman discovered this effect, there were 2 more other scientists who also discovered at the same time. That's what the Praveen was mentioning about the parallel thinking. It happened even in this phenomenon also. But Raman was very lucky enough to publish it in such a way that the entire world is known. Then only he got the credit. Otherwise, we would have lost this credit also. In fact, the other scientist name, which I'm right now not able to spell out,
Russian scientist. Yeah.
Russian scientists, yes, they were actually penalized for not publishing. Penalized in the sense punished somewhat by their patronage, that they could not able to make it public or make it globally known. That's an interesting story in the Raman effect. There are so many stories associated with Raman effect. This is one thing. Second thing, which lightly mentioned by Praveen about the Raman spectroscope being used in Perseverance, which was launched last 2020 and landed last year. The first time in the planetary science, Raman spectroscope was used, and Raman spectrograph other than the Earth has been released. It's a fascinating thing. It is not told by Indians. It is told by the NASA scientists. It is released. There was a talk available in YouTube. People can watch it. This is my comment. And I want to appreciate Praveen as well as Shastri for making this event to happen. Thanks for that. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you, Srinath, sir. Thank you, Shastri, sir. Now we are running out of the time. I call Preeti Varghese, creative volunteer, to present the vote of thanks. 1 minute. 1 minute. Preeti, just unmute yourself.
Thank you, Supriya. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you, Supriya. Thank you. Success can come to you by courageous devotion to the task lying in front of you. This is said by Sir C.V. Raman, which is very true even today. Thank you, Praveen sir, for today's session was really motivating, because having degree is not so important, but the desire to perceive the passion is very important. As C.V. Raman sir said, you should have courageous devotion. Definitely, it's very true. C.V. Raman sir did not even just preach it, but he also practiced what he said. He once said, Ask the right question and nature will open the doors to her secrets. Yes, right. Asking right questions is very, very, very important because he not only asked questions, his quest to find the answers for those questions has given rise to many answers and inventions. Thank you, sir, for enlightening our children with different career options in science other than being a doctor and an engineer. Thank you all the creative team, volunteers, Srinath sir, and all the speakers who participated in this session. I also thank my dearest friend Supriya here. And also I want to add on, I need to thank Srinath, Shastri sir and Srinath sir for adding on extra information to what Praveen sir has said. Thank you all the participants who excitedly participated in this session. And before ending my vote of thanks, I'd just like to wish all of you a happy Science Day. Supriya, over to you.
Supriya madam, before you end, because officially you have ended the program, just off the record, you may take feedback from so many other people were there. They were not able to speak. If you can just free opening, if anybody wants to say to improve